Jim Dickinson, Cape May, New Jersey. A friend of my son had come down here for a couple of years, and he talked a group of us into coming down, said it was really great fishing, it would be quite an experience, so 5 of us came down. Oh, I've been fishing off and on my whole life since I was a little kid. You know, every kind of fishing, freshwater, saltwater, any kind of fishing there is, I'm there. I'm not a super into kayak fishing. I have a kayak, and I've kayak fished probably 10 to 15 times in my life, and I've gone in salt water, not out in the ocean, more in the back bays where it's a little safer. So I'm not like the most experienced kayak fisherman. We drove from Cape May to Newark, New Jersey, and we flew a direct flight. It was a little over 5 hours down to Panama City. Stayed there an extra day before, then traveled here to Los Buzos. It was about roughly a 6-hour ride, and the scenery and the countryside was just something totally different than what I'm used to back in the States. So that in itself was quite a bit interesting, actually. What was maybe the most intimidating was that you weren't sure what the condition would be like on the water. But once you got on the water, even though maybe it was a little rough, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. We went down and he showed us all about the boats, how everything worked, the life jackets, the radios, what our fishing experience was going to be like. We were going to have 3 rods, all the safety issues. Went over pretty much everything so that we would know what to expect when we got on the water. The beach launch was easier than I thought it was going to be. There was a guy on each side. You walked out, they held your kayak, you jumped in the kayak, they slid you off the beach, you started pedaling. They had to drive in, they had the rudder down, everything was good. You jumped in, started pedaling, and once you got 3 or 4 pedals, you were on your way. You know, they had already, shown you all the steering and everything, so it really wasn't, the launching was pretty easy, a little easier than I thought it might be. First impression of Dakota was he was just a normal, average guy. As far as fishing goes, the man knows fishing. I mean, he uses common sense with his fishing. He puts you on the structure where the fish are going to be. He puts you with the right equipment, the right lures. He likes artificial fishing, which I actually like too, but they also use bait. But as far as actually going out there, the man will put you on the meat. And then, sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it is, just like any fishing, but he puts you in the right place with the right equipment. He's the man. The first day on the Panga, we caught just a gambit of things. We caught snapper, we caught pompano, we went offshore, we caught rohillas, I think they're called. We caught a grouper, we caught tilefish. I must have caught 8 or 10 tilefish myself. So, I mean, as far as action was, it was a really action-filled day, which is a type of fishing that I like. I'm not necessarily all about one trophy. If it happens, it happens, but I like to have action and have a chance at that trophy. Friday, everybody was going to go back out front where we started the first day on Monday, but I had got a knee replaced in November, so I didn't want to push it, so I decided to go on the Panga with another man that went on the Panga. We called him Canadian Dave, and our plan was just to go down the beach and try a few spots off the beach where they had previously caught roosterfish and cabera and snappers, so we went down the beach trying 3 or 4 spots. Maybe on the second drop, we caught 3 or 4 snappers, and Dave caught an octopus, and we put the octopus on for bait, and it wasn't maybe 1 or 2 drops, and we had a cabera snapper that was a monster. I mean, it was a monster that it was one of the tougher fighting fishes that I've had. It was just cool to catch. It was cool to see. They have a wolf-like mouth, tremendous teeth, and they're a very strong, not a super fast fish, but a very strong fish with 4 or 5 really good stout runs. I had never even really kind of heard of roosterfish until my son told me about this place and said it was very famous for the roosterfish. And I caught the roosterfish on a pretty lightweight rod for the type of fish, but this fish gives you speed runs, it gives you power, and it has stamina. It just doesn't quit. You might get him circling up and you think you've got a chance at landing him, and there he goes again. I mean, this just went over and over and over. I went around the bow maybe 8 or 10 times, back and forth, you know. So it was one of the better fighting fish for its size that I've ever caught. I would definitely recommend anyone that loves to fish to come to Los Buzos, because you get such an array of fish, things that maybe in your neck of the woods, or where your East Coast, West Coast, UK, wherever you are in the world, you're going to have some kind of fish, but you get things here that you just don't see too many places in the world, all in the same place. I mean, they say they have 30-some species of fish here. I would say maybe in this week we were here, we probably caught at least half of them, if not more. You know, I would definitely recommend it to anyone that's into fishing. It's a great place to fish. The food was excellent. Fresh fish, ceviche. It was excellent, and it was something different every night, and it was usually something that we caught, which was amazing. You know, anybody that eats fish, there's nothing better than catching it and eating it that night. That is the best. That's the ultimate. For me, it was the last day. It was the cabera and the roosterfish, which is something I never dreamed of catching, and something that I caught the same two fish that people dream of all their life, and I caught them in the same day, which was incredible.